Infrastructure is certainly going to be the big focus in the autumn statement. I've been speaking to Sir John Armitt, who helped deliver the London Olympics and now runs the National Infrastructure Commission. We met at the Institute for Civil Engineers, where he's been president, and where they have an exhibition aimed literally at bridge building. Well, Sir John Armitt, tell us first of all about this bridge. This is the prize exhibit in this infrastructure exhibition, and it's made out of Lego.
It is, and this is the home of the Institution of Civil Engineers. This is about as good a bit of civil engineering as you get, a suspension bridge, and what we're seeking to do here is to open up civil engineering to the public, and this is an exhibition which is open to the public and school children and school groups, and what we want to do is show them engineering.
Now, this is actually a copy of the bridge across the Severn, is that right, or pretty close to it?
It's pretty close to it, yep, absolutely. Yes.
And just tell us in engineering terms, I would, as a layman, call it a suspension bridge.
It is a suspension bridge, yep, and it's a world record in Lego, which is what people can do with Lego these days is absolutely marvellous. Bridges link communities, they link countries, they link jobs, they are absolutely essential.
And we have had, looking at it here, in this case, we have had some major British engineers who've sort of given this to the world over the years.
Well, absolutely. This is Brunel, of course, and
it's a hat like he wore.
Absolutely, yep. And they were British engineers who designed the Severn Bridge.
Telford,
again, yes. So, and if you go around the world, particularly the Victorian world, you'll find British engineering everywhere. But today, you'll still find British engineers. I've just, in the last year, been travelling around the world. India, Hong Kong, Australia, New Zealand, the Caribbean, wherever I went, British engineers.
Now, I am a little bit of a cynic. I suppose that's because I'm a journalist. I've heard politicians talk a lot about infrastructure, and we've got now, with the autumn statement, again, a big focus on infrastructure. But is anything actually changing? Are we really putting more resources into it?
We need to put more resources into it. We are not spending enough. If you listen to the OECD, then we need to spend at least 3% of our GDP. We're currently spending about 1.7%. We need to improve our highways. We need to debottleneck many of our transport routes. You can see there's a lot of investment going into rail at the moment because of the demand from people, but it's not just transport. Look at the flood. The catastrophes we've had with flooding over the last few years. Flooding, we're spending $6 billion over a 5-year period. I mean, it's not a lot of money. We need to spend more. Personally, I think we have to come round to the idea of paying for our road use. We pay for our electricity, we pay for our water, we pay by what we consume. Modern technology will enable us to measure how and when we use our car in a totally different way. Loss of fuel duty as we go to electric cars. The government's going to need to replace that. So I think some form of road pricing has to be addressed. I know it's not easy, but I think we have to get our heads around it.
I mean, you've been working with the Olympics, you did the Olympics, delivered that. How confident are you that, you know, when there isn't, if you like, that focus of 2012 and national pride, that all these things we've been talking about are going to happen?
Oh, the big difficulty is making the decision to go ahead. The engineering and building it, we can do that. This country has brilliant engineers. We can build on time, we can build to cost. We've demonstrated that time and time again recently. You only hear about the ones that go wrong, but the majority of projects are completed on time, they are completed on budget, and the length of time we take is arguing about, shall we do it, shan't we do it, backwards and forwards. Then going through the planning process, your average bypass, maybe 12 to 14 years. 12 years of that's talking about it, 2 years is building it.
Well, Sir John Armitt talking now about infrastructure, with me now, Rupert.